Hey Tim, greetings from Port Douglas.
Yeah. So I thought you'd want to point that out to me. Well, I can tell you it's pretty cold here, and how unfortunate for you that your flight's been cancelled and you have to stay an extra few days.
I know. Yeah, this holiday is becoming quite the adventure. At the moment, we're booked to come home on Sunday, Cairns to Brisbane, and then Brisbane to Tamworth, and then Tamworth to Sydney on Monday. So. Fingers crossed I actually get there, but it does mean that I'm going to miss our meeting with the minister, which you've got on.
Yes.
What do you?
Yes, we do.
Sorry, what do you want to talk to the minister about?
Well, a number of things, but one of the things I want to find out about is whether or not the minister will be kind enough to extend the moratorium on the reforms, because they gave us 6 months, or Fair Trading gave us 6 months to get the necessary business changes, structures in place so we could be compliant with the reforms, which, as you know, came in on the 23rd of March. Yep. Unfortunately, during that 6 months, you may have spotted this, but we had this international pandemic, which distracted all of our attention. And for that reason, I don't think all of the procedural changes have actually taken place. So it is appropriate, in my view, that we go down that path. And whilst I have the minister's attention, I was also going to ask for some waivers of licensing fees. Yep. A number of other industries were able to achieve that, including the tattooists. Yep. I think we should be once again putting our hand out and saying, how about us too?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Definitely. And so on the same day, we have got a call with Fair Trading. Hopefully I won't be flying at that time, and if not, I will definitely join. But we're going to talk to them about a few things in particular.
Yeah, so one of the things that we need to get some assistance on is borders. So the problems we've got down there, I could spend the next hour talking about, and it's been, there's just so much that people hadn't thought about. And look, in fairness to government...
You mean for people who are like places like Albury or Tweed or whatever?
Yeah. So Albury, the examples that have been coming my way have been from Albury, Wodonga, and some of them, they're not bizarre by any stretch of the imagination. They're just the normal sort of a day that somebody would go through. Yeah. And because the restrictions and the requirements and legislation that went into place to actually enforce that and to provide that barrier at the borders, there's been some really difficult and unintended consequences that have come out of that. I've shared a couple of those with you, as you know. Yeah. So we do need to get them on the table and try and see how this works. It's quite a crazy. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but if you want to drive across the border from Wodonga to Albury, you have a lot of difficulty. Where if you're from Victoria, up until yesterday, there were 17 flights a day coming in from Melbourne, and you landed here from Victoria, Melbourne, and then you've said, yes, I'll go and self-isolate, happy days. And that was it. So there was this crazy sort of discrepancy going on.
Yep.
And now they're obviously trying to tighten all that up. But as a consequence of that, there are some property transactions, people in the property industry trying to move between Wodonga and Albury, for that matter, other towns on borders. It is really becoming a serious problem.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
we want some clarity around that. Yep. I also want to know if there is any talk about the moratorium on evictions. Now, we know that tenants were protected from being evicted, both residential and commercial tenants, and that is rapidly coming to an end, that moratorium period. Yep. So I wanted to know if there is any talk on the table, or if anyone's put a submission in to be having that discussion, because I think it is very, very important. Firstly, we're in that discussion. And if it is going to happen, the maximum notice we can get to get ourselves prepared for it, rather than, as you know, all too often, these things just get sprung on us.
Yeah.
So there's that issue. And I want to raise underquoting with fair trade. And this might seem like a really weird thing to be dragging up at this point with everything else going on. But I can envisage what's going to happen is that people are going to find themselves in very difficult circumstances, having to retire debt quickly. Yep. They're going to come to the agent and they say, how much is my property worth? Agent says, my estimated selling price is $1 million. And they say, that's fantastic, but I need you to sell it like yesterday. I want you to advertise this for $800,000 and get it sold. Okay. And the agent is going to say, I can't do that. That would be illegal. Yeah. And you can imagine the vendor going, what do you mean? I want to give the community the deal of the century here, and you can't tell anyone. So that's quite crazy. So we're going to have to try and work through that as well, which to me, the legislation was put in place by people who don't understand the property market sufficiently, and at a time when they never contemplated that the market might head south. So that's the reason. That's the reason we've got this legislation.
Yeah, that'll be a really interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Now, we also had the Premier come out this week and say anybody who is working face-to-face with customers needs to wear a mask. Now, that is real estate agents in open homes and in auctions, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, she said, I recommend. But I like the way you've said it. I think, yes, do that. Now, every one of us has an obligation here to try and stop this thing spreading. Even if you say to yourself, look, I don't think I'm going to be subject to it. I'm young and I'm fit and all that. I won't die. That might be the case. But if you take even a self-centered approach to this thing, if you end up like they have down in Victoria, when they shut the entire state down, property transactions included, we don't want that. We don't want it now. Now, we're being protected from it, but we have to do our bit.
And as I said to my team at Lang & Simmons, I did a video that I posted to them this morning. I said, the last thing that we need is to become like the Thai Rock and be on the news every night with the Lang & Simmons cluster. Like, nobody needs that.
Well, it's even worse than that, isn't it? Because if you go to a restaurant and that restaurant has the cluster in it, that's great, because that restaurant ends up sprayed all over the media. By the way, the pub just down the road from the Institute was the beneficiary of being named and shamed. But if it's an auction, Leanne, then it's not like it's an auction at 10 Smith Street that gets tarnished. Totally. It's auctions everywhere get tarnished. So, so we've got to protect against that. So you're 100% right. In all of those instances where it's going to be face-to-face and people coming into contact with one another, we've got to do the right thing.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, a couple of quick things. We've got the Women on Boards breakfast, which was meant to be face-to-face on Wednesday of next week, but we have made the difficult decision to hold it via Zoom. So if you haven't booked into that because you are concerned about being out and about, we are going to do it on Zoom from 8 o'clock on Wednesday of next week. We'll send an email out about that, I would imagine, today. We've also got our AGM and board elections in November. So we have got some nominations coming in for the board. So there's quite a few positions available. So if people are interested, reach out. We would love to have a chat about it. You have got a webinar on Friday at 10:30 with the new Office of the Small Business Commissioner.
Yes, so the new commissioner, and here's a little bit of gossip between you and I. He was an ex-real estate agent.
Well, he was at Lang & Simmons down in Canberra.
Just keeps getting better, doesn't it? So yeah, and a really nice guy. So he knows our industry. And he's come in, and I've had a couple of conversations with him, and really like the enthusiasm, the attitude he's bringing to the role. And given that most of our members are small, medium businesses, it's good to have him coming along. And he sent me through a document earlier today about the things that he's going to discuss, which is going to be great. So look, I would recommend everybody have a listen to him, because it's a real coup for us to get him on, given he's only been in the job for 5 minutes, and get him to come on and talk about his vision.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Yeah, perfect. We also had our finalists of the Novice Auctioneers competition, that heat for the CBD, and our winner was Brett Ransley. So that apparently was a fantastic night. So that was that's all good. Now, I don't have anything left on my list. What about you?
Just thinking about the Novice Auctioneers competition, I'll make a prediction that Brett goes on to be one of the great auctioneers of this town. I've never met him and I've never seen him.
Yeah.
But what I have seen over the years is all the names we now hold in esteem in auctioneering all came through that. All the big names, they all came through that process. So it's a wonderful competition. One of the things I think we can be really proud of is that opportunity that the Institute provides to launch those careers.
Yeah, I think it's really important. I think it's really important.
The last thing on my list, and I know our team is working very hard with scheduling people to come on our Friday webinar. One of the people we're trying to get along is someone from the tax office, and we think we do have somebody.
Yeah, they were great. It's just a matter of timing, so we need to do it sooner rather than later, given it's time.
Yeah, so we're going to be asking this person to talk about the sorts of things that agents can rightfully claim and deduct away from their income, and how to get all of that right, things that they should be looking at, and generally trying to get their tax affairs in the right order, and how to go about doing that. So that'll be another interesting discussion.
Yeah, particularly given we're all working from home or have been working from home for part of the year. So or working from holidays like I am.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to go grab a cocktail now. You enjoy.
Well, I hope you get sunburnt.
I already did.
All right, I look forward to seeing you when you bounce back. You're going to be like a yo-yo by the time you get home, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, totally. All right, I'll
see you later. Stay safe. Bye.